I'd like to welcome you all here today. I got to tell you, this has been a long time coming. I know I've known Judy for 20 years, and when she first started, she was in that little house on 4th Street across from the old City Hall. And I know that it means a lot to her to finally have the building done. I will tell you, 6 years ago, she and I took a little ride around town to look at some of the city-owned property at the time, and we identified this as probably the perfect site for a new court space. Judy, it just took us a few years to get everybody else up to that same point of view. So it's a beautiful new space. As normal, it's a team effort. The architect is Architecton. The contractor was Hayden Construction. Our project manager on site was Ted Hawkins. And I think as you come in and look at the building, you'll really see good workmanship, nice design. It's very functional. And I think more than anything else, you know, as Casa Grande has grown to the 50,000 people we are today, really wasn't very practical for us to use our city council chambers and the court space for the same purposes. And I think, unfortunately, you know, over the last 10 years, the world is a different place. You know, we didn't have the ability to provide security to the court where they were. We do have full security here, and I mean, it's unfortunate we have to do that, but I think that's just a sign of the times that we live in. So, welcome everybody. We've got a few speakers we want to invite up to say a few words, and then we'll do a ribbon cutting. And please go in and partake of the refreshments and take a tour of the facility. And hopefully you'll never have to come back to the court again after today. First up is Joe Salvatore. Joe is the architect with Architecton that was responsible for this. So Joe.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Mayor, for the introduction. Welcome to the grand opening of Judge Judy's dream and the city of Casa Grande seed for the future and this great home. I'd like to first introduce a couple of folks and thank them very much for their efforts. From my team, Mike Rosso. Mike was the project architect. Basically pulled this whole thing together for us. Not here, I don't see them here, is Ashley Yano, who pulled together all the graphics for us, and Rodrigo Rada. I was hoping he'd be here. He was the designer for this. He's gone off to San Diego, so unfortunately he's not here, but this was his dream to come up with the architecture. The engineers were Henderson Engineers, did a phenomenal job. You don't see it, but the mechanical systems in here are beautifully laid out, and there's nice mezzanines up there for them, easy to get to. Structure Studio, KPFF, civil engineers, and Morswick, landscape architect, responsible for the wonderful landscape you see here. This project couldn't have happened without Hayden Building Corp. Tremendous team. Really enjoyed working with them on this. Fritz, I saw him earlier. He's here. Fritz, great job. Cub's back here somewhere over there. And Jim Pierce. Jim cracked the whip and squeezed every single amount of building you can get out of every dollar spent here. So anything we asked for, he got done and immediately. So Jim, thank you very much. Ted, are you around? There he is. Ted is a phenomenal asset to the city of Casa Grande. Ted guided us the entire way. He ensured that the city of Casa Grande standards and ideals were met. He helped us make this project happen from the very beginning to the very end. So Ted, we really owe him a great applause and tremendous thank you. What we've learned about this during this project, Casa Grande is a very special place. The City Hall is the heart. This campus is the heart. This is the first building in a while to be built on this campus, and hopefully we sowed the seed for future buildings to bring the government complex together to serve the city. It's a great city with a rich history, and this building obviously takes on that history. I know you all have a very strong root in the past and looking forward for the future, so hopefully this building serves as that foundation. I definitely want to talk about Judge Judy and the relationship we've developed and all the things I've learned about Judge Judy and how she runs the courts. It's not funny. Judge Judy is a wonderful, wonderful person. Not only is she a very fair, honest, open person, she really cares about every individual in this city. She fosters an environment, a working environment with her staff, which I really haven't really seen before. She really thinks of this group as a family, and with that, they provide excellent service to the city. We've taken her dream, we've taken her ideals of how she wants to operate and shaped this building around it. Once you tour through here, you'll see, you go to the back of the house here, and you'll see how we've embodied her ideals of working together with her staff to provide that service is put into effect. So I want to thank you, Judge Judy, for your leadership, and and welcome home, and hopefully we built a place that will keep all your staff very safe and working together well. Thank you all.
I'm delighted to be here this morning to help dedicate this fine new facility. But I think if there's anything that we can come away with here, it's how this project is a real testament to the collaborative efforts of the people involved in it, and the perseverance on the part of Judge Judy and Mayor Jackson, and of course the city council that helped make this thing come together. As with all successful projects, they start with a successful team, or a good team that the city put together. We've got Joe Salvatore representing Architecton, and he and Judge Judy worked through all the programming and architecture on the building. Fritz Bearhorst worked relentlessly to hold the budget on it, and then Cub Carter and Jim Pierce were the two that got it built and delivered the quality that we were all looking for and envisioned. But with any good team, we had a good team leader, and that team leader was Mr. Hawkins. And Ted was focused on the finish line from the very beginning, and I know that sometimes it probably felt like he was herding cats, but he managed to keep everyone focused on the prize. And so I wanted to offer a special thanks to Ted Hawkins for helping us through this. Thank you.
And finally, I'd like to invite Judge Judy Ferguson up to say a few words. And certainly, Judy, I know this has been a long-time dream, and I think I'm probably almost as happy as you are that it's finally here. So, Judy Ferguson.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming today, but I'd like to introduce my staff and my family, especially my husband, who's put up with me for 22 years being in the court system. He says he's going to bring a bed down and I can just stay here at night. But my family's here, but my staff is very important. They helped us design the building because they have to work in it more than I do. So my staff are Diani Juarez, Debbie Jewell, Norma Viescas, Corina Espinoza, she's brand new with us. She's been with us just about a month or 2 months. And Isabel Pinon, who's been with us about 4 or 5 months, yeah. So we have some brand new people too, and myself. My family, my husband Jimmy is sitting over here on the end, and behind him is my youngest son, Jeffrey Ferguson, with my 2 granddaughters, who I spoil rotten, Kobe Caitlin and Kaylee Ferguson, and my oldest son, Tim, who nobody around here really sees a lot, his Tim Ferguson, and my daughter-in-law, Jana. My brother, who's after me, I'm the oldest child. My brother's next. This is Denver Davis Jr., and with him is Jean, my sister-in-law, my daughter-in-law, yeah, my sister-in-law, and then my baby sister, Janice Robles, and her husband, Jackie. They put up with a lot from me and done a lot, but I'd like to thank the council And at this time, the clerks are going to walk around. Oh, I'm sorry. And my deputy magistrates, Bob Mitchell over here. I knew I was going to forget somebody today. Bob Mitchell and Mike Beers, who was my first prosecutor when I started working for the city of Casa Grande. He was my first prosecutor, but now he's working as a deputy magistrate for me. His wife told me after he retired I had to put him to work, so. So I ran him to the cleaners and he agreed to work. So that's where we're at. But I'd like to thank the council, Mary Courtson. This is from the court, Carl Montoya, Steve Miller. I know you were spread out. Okay, Dick Powell, he's back here in his hat. You can always find him with a hat. And right next to him is Matt Herman. And not last, but the mayor Jackson. And I'd also like to thank, as Mr. Hayden said, Cub and Jim Pierce, if they will come up here, please. I'm sorry, Fitzgibbons, I'm sorry.
It looks so easy too.
Jim Pierce, this is from the court staff.
Thank you.
And Cub's handled the money end of it, so if we look at him and we say, do we have money, he'd shake his head yes or no.
Must have been some left.
And Ted Hawkins, not last but least, but Ted Hawkins. Come up here, Ted. Ted had his birthday yesterday, so we didn't get to go through the building for the last time. But Ted Hawkins has promised me all of this, and Joe Salvatore's promised, and they came through. If we had a problem, Hayden Construction fixed it. If there was a problem and it needed other things, Ted was where we would go to. And I'd like to thank the city and the people that work here. And I have a lot of colleagues that I have Judge Song Ong, we went through NJO together. She's the presiding judge in the Phoenix City Court. She has a busy court, but she took time to come down. I have another one that drove down from Springerville this morning, Judge Geisler. And I know there's other people out there. I know there's people locally. I'm sorry if I missed anybody, but I'm really glad you're here, and I really want you to take a nice look at what the taxpayers' dollars are paying for. We tried to do everything we could to get it for the future, too. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Judy. At this point, I think we'd like to do the ribbon cutting, so if I could have the council and the court staff join us, including the deputy magistrates. We have these nice new pair of scissors. We're going to see if they work.
Ted guaranteed it. Ted was in charge.
Come on, you guys.
Judy. Come on. You're holding up progress.
I know.
I'm going to let you cut.
Come on, Judge, you're the short one. You got to get up. You got to get up.
Count of three. Okay? 1, 2, 3.
All right.